Jesus is the light of the world, and Willie and Mavis Watts are two Watts who are out spreading that light. The Light Company is a children's ministry which travels from church to church all over the United States and overseas. They minister in big churches or small, at camps, at Christian schools, or in rented buildings. Wherever they can hold a meeting, they minister to the forgotten mission field of the world, the American children.
I heard a guy once say that it doesn't really matter what day you were born or what day you died, but what really matters is what happened in between those two dates. My grandma, Mavis Watts, was born March 12, 1930. She passed away August 29, 2011. But the life she lived and the people that she touched in between those two dates was anything but ordinary. Now, I could give you all the stats about my grandma, that she was born in Devil's Lake, North Dakota, which I always found a little ironic because my grandma didn't hate anyone or anything except the devil. I mean, she wouldn't even use a Dirt Devil vacuum cleaner, but she was born in a town that had that name. I could tell you that she died in her sleep on August 29, 2011. I could tell you about her husband of 56 years, Willie, or about the 4 kids she had, Tim, Richard, Sue, and Pamela. I could tell you about all the traveling she and my grandpa did in their 20-plus years on the road ministry and all the places they've seen. But I want to tell you about who she is. She was a woman who loved the Lord and was always willing to talk to anyone about Him. A lot of people, including myself sometimes, think about God as some far-off distant being that is watching over us from a distance. But my grandma always talked about Him like He was sitting right next to her, which made God seem more real and personable than I had ever realized before. She was a woman who loved her family. She had 4 children, 6 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren when she passed away. She always made each one of us feel special. Even when we were all together in one place, I would look over at her and she would flash her soft smile, and I knew she cared. I don't remember ever leaving her without giving her a hug and having her telling me that she loved me and that she would keep praying for me, which meant a lot. During times when even my faith was shaky, she would always say that she was praying for me, and I know she was. She was a woman who had her own way of doing things. I remember one summer that we were on vacation with them, we decided to go to a AAA baseball game in Iowa. My grandma became concerned when she realized that she was going to have to pay ballpark prices to feed 5 grandchildren, her husband, and herself. So that afternoon, my grandma started popping popcorn. She popped enough popcorn to fill half a garbage bag, and off to the ballpark we went. Even as a 10-year-old, I knew that they weren't going to let her bring that bag in, but she was determined to do so. But in the end, the bag was confiscated, and she ended up having to pay for food at the ballpark. She was a woman who left her comfortable life in northern Minnesota to hit the road with her husband in 1983 and start the Light Company. The Light Company was a traveling puppet show that ministered to children all across North America. My grandpa would preach and be the spokesman, if you will, out front, while my grandma ran everything backstage. She was the voice of Zeke, their main character puppet, who the kids loved to see. Zeke would interact with my grandpa and keep all the puppets in line, or as Zeke would say, keep them on the ball. Although it was fun, my grandma took it seriously. There was no messing around backstage. She wanted the kids out front to be entertained, but more importantly, she wanted them to learn about Jesus. She and my grandpa didn't start the Light Company for fame and fortune. They started because they loved children and wanted to make sure that each kid heard the good news about Jesus. The Light Company reached tens of thousands of children and led who knows how many to Jesus. Which brings me to my last point. She was the woman who led me to Jesus. I grew up in a Christian home, went to church, listened to Bible stories, heard of people accepting Jesus into their hearts. I didn't really know what that meant, but one summer night when I was on vacation with them, I asked my grandma what it meant to have Jesus come into my heart. She explained it to me and afterwards asked if I want to do it. Right there in the back of my grandparents' Airstream trailer, my grandma prayed with me and helped me ask Jesus into my heart. That is who she was: a wife, a mother, a grandmother, friend, and disciple. And there's no doubt in my mind that right now, she is with her Lord.